Hey guys, I am DM Zone. This is Gamers Oasis. We're going to do something a little bit different today. As you can see, we don't actually have the little intro bumper. Let me know in the comments below if you think that's a better transition directly into the video versus having that 5 seconds or so where it's kind of like dead space. I feel like I need to do more there or just take it completely out. Okay guys, so as you see, I've changed my wardrobe a little bit. It's actually a different day. Giving this another shot. I didn't like the first version of this. I felt like I tried to get too much into it and I didn't actually cover anything. So this video is designed to try and get other YouTubers to watch another thing I'm trying to do that will hopefully inspire you to make videos about a certain way to try and build the Entropian universe we have. The first video I made talked a lot about putting one foot in the water and having the other foot out of the water and blah blah blah. I think the big thing is this. There's a lot of good Entropian video makers. The community is very strong. They, at least my videos, they tend to have very good watch durations and that type of stuff, which makes for very healthy channels and worthwhile to do these things. I know that I tend to watch most Entropian people that I follow, and I watch most of their content all the way through. Every time they produce a new video, I just eat it up. Okay, so I wanted to kind of throw a few lines out to other people, and I'm going to be doing that in another video where I break that down even more and talk about certain things and talk about a goal that I'm working towards. So I'm going to leave that alone for now. Just know that I've not reached out to any of these YouTubers. Any of them that see this and want to know if I'm reaching out to them, they can write me in comments below and I'm gladly will talk about it. Nothing really secretive going on here. And I'm not doing any sort of big dive into the analytics and pulling up like special programs to like look at stuff that maybe isn't public. But you know, I'm kind of trying to get an idea of what they're doing and then talk about what they're doing a little bit and what I enjoy about their videos and that type of stuff, hoping that they'll do the same thing maybe in their video about me. I don't generally talk about where I work and what my name is and that type of stuff, because this could actually affect my career and my livelihood and the food I provide for my kids and that type of stuff. But one of the things that Gary Vaynerchuk talks about is don't ever have anything that you're hiding that could come back and bite you in the butt. What I'm hiding isn't that, you know, I'm some felon or that I'm some victim that's hiding from their, you know, predator or anything of that nature. It's actually more of the exact opposite. If I would just say hiding, which I think hiding is probably the wrong choice of words. I'm hiding from the fact that there's a lot of people out there that don't like the work I do, that don't like the people I would associate with. And I was always afraid that that's going to hurt my channel. Well, now I've got like 170 videos made for this channel, and 154 of them are actually public. You know, this is 155 if I'm not mistaken. And I've got 120 subscribers. So what am I hiding from? What good has not putting where I work and what I do for a living out there done for me? None. So I'm just going to go ahead and take like this worry off my plate and talk about it, and talk a little bit more about who I am and the interests I'm into. And I'm going to leave politics off it because I think politics is probably a step too far. No one cares about my politics, and I like that because I'm not really that political as a person. I'd hate to be defined by it. But let me just go ahead and say, so those people at my work would know me as a sergeant. My name is Sergeant Bates at work. I'm not going to use my first name because I work in law enforcement in the jail. And because of that, if people knew my first name, then that would actually cause problems potentially in there. But every literal felon and people who commit misdemeanors and that type of stuff know me as Sergeant Bates. And most people who go to the jail where I work, which is a fairly large jail, know who I am. I kind of stand out in that crowd. I have a team of up to 10 people. It's my job to try and make sure they're safe and secure, and that no one gets hurt. Sometimes I'm able to do that, other times I'm not. I wear that greatly. I'm not going to really get into my specializations, but I have some, and things that I train people in, and things I don't train people in, and things I get trained in, and things that I like versus other areas. Maybe in the future I'll feel comfortable talking about those, but again, right now I just don't think that's where I am with this. I feel comfortable talking about the fact that I've been in law enforcement for almost a decade, and that it was something I've always wanted to do. If I hadn't got hurt when I was in the military, I probably would be career Army, and then would have gotten out and been working in law enforcement, or I would have got out and been much farther along in my law enforcement career. No, I don't ever have plans to go patrol. It would take a pretty big act to do that. I'm kind of happy with the path I've taken in the jail side, working my way into the jail administration side. The next step up for me is lieutenant, which is actually an administrative position. So I'm right there at the precipice of going that direction. Funny enough, if you ever see me talk about my D&D videos, very rarely will you ever hear me talk about anything jail related, even though I'm going to have a jail in the first campaign module I'm going to do. It's going to have absolutely nothing to do with the type of jail I have, and that's something I actually have contemplated as being like a potential problem. And then I want to talk about criminals in that way, and that's not my type of channel either. I have lots of crazy stories that I will never go into, because those are personalized to people, and I don't feel like this is the proper place to speak publicly about it. So if you do know me from my work, feel free to say hi, and you don't even have to tell me your name if you don't want to or whatever. And if you see me in public, just say, hey, I watched one of your videos, and you know my response is going to be probably the same as it would be regardless of whatever else. I don't talk about those things at work. So anyways, that's kind of me. So what about Zone that you don't know already? I'm an avid hunter. I love to hunt. I use bows, crossbows, muzzleloaders, black powder, rifles. I'm a very good shot, in my opinion. I've killed multiple deer over 300 yards. I've done bird hunting. Pretty good at that. I don't really go after rodents and rabbits and that type of stuff. That's not really my thing. I only hunt things I eat. So if it's something I'm not going to eat, I'm not going to shoot it. I don't just shoot for sport unless it's a clay pigeon, and that's what I do with my son, who does trap. And he's a better shot at trap than I am, which is kind of embarrassing in many ways. He's bigger than me. I'm right at 6 foot, and he's over 6 foot. I still can beat him. Do not worry about that. If I can't beat him, there's a problem. For now, he's going to get huge. What else is there? I grew up in a religious family. My father is a pastor. My mom was a nurse for 50 plus years, and then became a school parent, which is teaching remedial English and math to students that were struggling. My wife is also a parent. She teaches English and math to people who don't speak English as their first language. Not that she speaks their language, but she has to spend more time teaching them English the way to learn English, if that makes sense. My community is very diverse. I'm actually a minority in my community. It is 63% or 61% Hispanic, but we have a large population of Burmese and Somalians and that type of thing. I live in the middle of the country. Like when I mean country, I mean like country. I'm 300 miles from the closest covered mall. I live basically in the middle of Denver, Wichita, and Amarillo, if if you could imagine. Look in the map, you'll see what I'm talking about. There's virtually nothing there. The biggest city is around me is like 50 miles away. So I do have good internet, thank God, and that type of stuff. I choose to be PG-13. It's an actual choice I make. It probably hurts me in some ways because there's some viewers that probably find it boring, a little square maybe. But it's something I choose to do, and that's a long-term strategy. I'm a huge planner. Everything I do has layers and layers of plans. Sometimes I try and throw those plans aside on purpose and just go, because you can get stuck in what's called analysis paralysis. I'm often there. I'm also an eccentric thinker. I don't want to be narcissistic, but we're talking about me for the second. And I worry about things like that right there a lot. The song Humble and Kind is probably one of my favorite songs because I believe strongly in being nice to people and humble and gracious. And especially when you are in a position of authority or power, to be meek and to not show your full force even though it's available to you, I think is very important. And if anyone has ever been to jail, they would understand that meaning maybe more than others. Speaking of jail, I'm a very stern, direct, blunt person at times, and I try not to. I try to curve that edge, especially when I'm away from work. But when I'm at work, things like "do it now" come out of my voice. I have a very different cadence of how I speak to people and whatnot. And I don't know. When I get away from jail and I meet those people, they still see me as being fair, respectful, and me just doing my job. They may not always like me, but they don't think I'm playing favorites. So, kind of back all over the place again. What else to say about me? I don't think I want to say anything else about me. I think I just kind of want to end that part here and talk a little bit about these videos. So, I've been looking at the analytics of the videos, and a lot of people think that the 15 to 20 minute window is a great place for my videos. And I agree, sort of. I agree that there is a place for a 15 to 20 minute long video, and anyone who's watching who's an Entropia YouTuber, take this into consideration. I do a monthly vlog. I think that should be 15 to 20 minutes, and I think my hunts do better narrated, sped up, at ×3 speed, and I think I'm going to try a 10-minute video because that fits better, and the percentage of viewed time I think could be better, and if I can get the click-through to a second video, I think that is where the gravy is, if that makes sense. So that's some real insider of like where my mind goes with the next upcoming videos. So now that you guys kind of got an idea that I'm sort of a big nerd, big geek into all these D&D, video games, real cash economies, that type of stuff, and then I go work and I'm like this super serious law enforcement type of guy that's in charge of a team, has to do use of force reports and that type of stuff and blah 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 blah. Now you can kind of see like the difference of what people would expect when they see Sergeant Bates walking around with his American flag on his cup, and DM Zone, Brian, his YouTube channel, who does D&D related games, especially old content, retro stuff, and plays a cool video game that a lot of people enjoy that may not even know they enjoy it until they actually get a chance to play it. Okay, so I want to go ahead and talk real quickly about the game more, since I spent the first, I don't know, 2/3 of this video talking about me and talking about my work and talking about some direction of YouTube videos I want to do. One of the things I found that works really well in these longer content videos, of which I'm going to have a few more until I get back into some shorter content, is to run content parallel to each other. And I'm going to go ahead now and jump to a different screen. And this screen here is going to have what's called a SWAT. Now, I've done several test swants in a row to see if I can get a baseline of how much sweat per hour I've done. And I've done this in different ways, but the most important thing I think is to see, is there a difference between wearing armor or using a Vivo S10 to heal in between each fight, and then see what is the average I get at level 8, 9, basically sweat gatherer, and then do it again when I get to like sweat gatherer level 20, and then do this again when I get to like sweat gatherer level 50, and see if there's a huge difference in what I've done. Now, one of the things that's important to know about sweat gathering is that there's only so much sweat you can get off the creature, and then you can kill the creature for its loot. What I have found, based on this so far, is that when you sweat all the skill off of a creature, it tends to change the loot variance dramatically. And I don't know if that's because part of the game breaks because you spent more on this creature than you should. So it's saying, well, I'm not going to just give you the good stuff. I'm going to give you crap. I'm going to give you the shrapnel, which to me is still good because it allows me to go back and hunt as a free-to-play player. So it doesn't really hurt me in that way. It's just not necessarily what other people are wanting for the markup. And I get that, and I'm a big markup hunter too, but not in the same way. Not just to be honest, I'm not in the same way hunting markup like some other people are. But what I've noticed is that I can actually go profitable with the swanting on shrapnel, and then the few items I get are usually like low-end tailor items or whatever I can go ahead and sell. Now, mind you, I'm hunting Monuras, so they end up with more tailor-based stuff than other creatures. But hear me out. It's kind of a good way to go. The question is now, which way is the best? Which way is the most consistent? Which way is the safest? If I was to hedge my bets, I would say that the Vivo S10 is probably a great way to go. I would say that if I wanted to have a more casual way that was maybe for a short term safer, I'd wear armor. However, I would not wear armor that covered my entire body. I'd wear 3 or 4 pieces of armor, probably my lowest tiered pieces I'm trying to level up, so that some hits would get through and some hits would not get through. This would allow me a chance to heal naturally and not have to use the Vivo S10 and armor, and it would mean that some of the times I got hit, I wouldn't be taking decay on my armor. I can tell you that when I run the CDF Scout armor from Calypso, that is enough to basically negate all damage from these Monuras. It's not enough damage to really do anything. And there's no reason to go higher than that at all. But I can tell you the Vivo S10, sometimes I find myself in trouble when I'm using melee weapons. If I'm using ranged, the Adjusted Bukin, for example, I tend to kill these things fast enough that no matter how many I get on me, for the most part, I'm fine, even without armor on. Now, I have died a couple times, but here lately in these last few fights, I really have to mess it up to get into a fight where I can't kill him fast enough. I am fairly high level. In this particular fight, I got a bunch of skills that I was not expecting. Let's see here. If I can pull it up real quick. So, for example, I got Brawler 4. Brawler 4 is a good one to get. It's damage. I have not gotten to Brawler yet, so when I go into Brawler, I expect that one's going to go up fairly significantly, because I'm going to be picking up the skill that's specifically Brawler, which means it should be a large percentage of that skill. So I suspect I'll go from Brawler damage 4 to like Brawler damage 10, probably in a short period of time. A skill that's kind of a random one-off skill is Gunner 1. I finally got Gunner 1 damage. I believe that is being the co-pilot on ships that can fire guns, in particularly space. I picked up Knife Fighter 5 and Swordsman 5. These are going to be good for whenever I switch into those forms of melee. I have some of those base skills already, like swordsman, I want to say. Maybe it helps knife fighter as well, because I picked up like 412 points or 22 points of those skills from a IGN mission I turned in. I've also picked up, for whatever reason, Whipper 4, which is a damage skill. That's going to help with gathering pets and that type of stuff, but I don't even know why I've got the skills for that, and I'm sure when I picked it up, and that'd be like the first one I told you about, and it'll probably jump to 10. The Brawler, probably the same type of thing. So I finally got my laser sniper skill, the hit skill. I finally got that to 10. So this means that I can't now go into, or when I get to 11, I can't go in to do the gauntlet anymore and get the daily tokens. But I'll be okay. There's lots of other daily missions I can do to get that without having to go down that road. And I don't know how beneficial that would be for me anyways. I have got Pistolier 6, which is another hit skill, and it looked like I did pretty well overall in this 50 PED run for skills. I love the amount of skills you get on a big long run like this. What I dislike about it is how long it takes to do and how long the videos end up having to be. I'm debating on maybe turning some of my videos into live streams and not releasing all my hunting videos in the form of YouTube videos. I tend to get way ahead. I don't think I can talk as much as I have video content. Let me know in the comments down below what you think about that. Anyways, if you guys want to see another one of my hunting videos, check out this video right in here, wherever it is. I'll have to figure out which side it is to me. And then over here, or over there I should say, and then I'll see you guys there. Thank you, I appreciate you, and keep her in that pen.